My brothers and sisters, hear me when I tell you this. Falling down is not the end of your story. Being knocked to the ground is not your final chapter. Life will push you down. Storms will shake you. Disappointments will cut you deep. But listen, what matters is not the fall. What matters is the rise. Anybody can stand tall when everything is easy. Anybody can smile when the sun is shining. But the question is, can you rise when the wind is fierce? Can you rise when the night is long? Can you rise when the people you counted on walked away? You may have lost something. You may have cried until your tears ran dry. But you are still here. And if you are still here, that means your assignment is not finished. The very fact that you woke up this morning is proof that heaven has not given up on you. Don't you dare confuse a setback with a conclusion. What you thought was the end may just be the beginning. Sometimes you've got to be broken to be blessed, crushed to be crowned, wounded to find your wings. The breaking is where the building begins, so rise, rise again, not the same but stronger, not bitter but wiser, not fragile but fortified, because every scar you carry is a testimony that you survived what was meant to destroy you. The ground you hit is not your grave. It's your training ground. The fall prepared you for the fight, and the fight is preparing you for the future. So when you stand up this time, stand up with fire in your bones. Stand up with vision in your eyes. Stand up with steel in your spirit. And declare to every fear, every failure, every enemy of your destiny, you thought I was finished, but I will rise again, stronger when life comes against you, when the weight of the world presses on your shoulders, when the storm beats so hard that you can't tell the difference between night and day. You discover something about yourself that you could never learn in comfort. You discover that the breaking is not the end. You discover that falling is not final. You discover that there is a power deep inside you that refuses to let the dirt bury you alive. You may bend, but you will not break. You may cry, but you will not quit. You may stagger, but you will not stay down. There is something in you that is greater than the storm around you, and that something is what will cause you to rise again stronger. People look at the surface and they think they know your story. They see the chapter you're in, but they don't understand the author who is writing it. They see the scars, but they don't see the strength that was born in the fire. They see the ashes, but they don't see the beauty that is waiting to come forth. They see the fall, but they don't see the rise. They don't understand that you are not defined by what knocked you down. You are defined by what you did after the blow landed. You've been through nights where you thought the morning would never come. You've walked through valleys so dark you couldn't see your own hands stretched before you. You've endured whispers, betrayals, losses, and heartbreaks that tried to convince you that you would never recover. But here you are, breathing, standing, listening, and if you are still here, it means there is more to your story. It means that your destiny is greater than your disaster. It means that the pain did not have the last word. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every detour is still connected to your destination. Every delay is preparing you for something greater than you imagined. When the door slammed in your face, you thought it was rejection, but it was really protection. When the path crumbled beneath your feet, you thought it was destruction, but it was really construction. You were not being buried, you were being planted. And when you are planted, growth is inevitable. You see, strength is not built in the spotlight. It is forged in the shadows. Strength is not developed when the applause is loud. It is shaped when the room is silent and you have to encourage yourself. Strength is not born when everything is going your way. It is born when everything falls apart and you choose to keep going anyway. That kind of strength cannot be faked. That kind of strength cannot be bought. That kind of strength comes only when you've been pressed, crushed, and pushed, and yet you rise from the ground with power in your soul. You are not here by accident. You are not breathing by chance. There were things designed to destroy you, but they failed. There were battles designed to break you, but you endured. There were storms that should have swept you away, but you outlasted them, and now, the very things that tried to destroy you are becoming the evidence of your resilience. Every scar you carry is a chapter of survival. Every tear you cried is a seed of tomorrow's joy. Every time you almost quit but didn't is a testimony that strength is rising in you. Don't you dare give more power to your failures than to your future. Don't you dare let the memory of what went wrong outweigh the promise of what's ahead. You have already proven that you can survive. Now it is time to prove that you can thrive. You have already demonstrated that you can withstand the blow. Now it is time to show that you can build again, dream again, hope again, live again. The ground you fell on is not the end of the road. It is the platform for your rising. The darkness you walked through is not the conclusion of your story. It is the backdrop for your light. The struggle you endured is not wasted pain. It is the training that equips you for the weight of your next level. Everything you went through was working something in you that comfort could never produce. Every disappointment was chiseling away at the weaker version of you to reveal the stronger one within. The rise is not about going back to who you used to be. The rise is about becoming who you were always meant to be, stronger, wiser, sharper, more resilient, more compassionate, more determined. Rise means you are not a prisoner of your past. You are the architect of your future. The rise means you are no longer bound by what you lost. You are empowered by what you learned. The rise means the fight was not in vain. It was the furnace that forged your unshakable spirit. Anybody can walk tall when the road is smooth, but when the ground begins to shake beneath your feet, when the wind howls against your face, when the world strips away your comforts and tests your resolve, that is when the truth of who you are is revealed. The storm has a way of uncovering the strength you never knew you had. It strips away illusions, it burns off excuses, and it pushes you into the raw, unfiltered reality of your own endurance. What looks like destruction is often construction. What feels like breaking is actually building. What appears to be the end is usually the birthplace of something greater, something stronger, something that could not be formed in times of ease. You cannot develop steel without fire, and you cannot discover your strength without struggle. Gold is purified in the furnace, diamonds are formed under pressure, and warriors are born on battlefields. Life is not trying to end you, it is trying to forge you. Every trial that shook your life was not meant to crush you, but to call forth the hidden power within you. Every disappointment that stabbed your heart was not meant to leave you lifeless, but to awaken your resilience. Every loss you endured was not meant to bury you, but to plant you, so that one day you would rise again, stronger and more fruitful than before. When people see you now, they may think they understand your journey, but they don't know the nights you cried yourself to sleep. They don't know the weight you carried when nobody was watching. They don't know the silent battles fought behind closed doors, the doubts that screamed in your ear, the fear that tried to paralyze your every step. They see the smile, but they don't see the scars. They see the light in your eyes, but they don't see the darkness you had to walk through. To find it, they see the rise, but they don't know the depth of the fall. But you know the cost of standing here. You know the pain that produced your persistence. You know the tears that watered the soil of your strength. And it is precisely because you know the struggle that you will never again underestimate the value of your rise. You have lived through storms that were designed to take you out. You have survived situations that should have shattered you. You have endured losses that should have locked you in grief forever. Yet every time, when others expected you to quit, you found a way to keep moving. You found a way to rise. Strength is not built in applause. It is built in silence. Strength is not born when everyone believes in you. It is born when you believe in yourself after others walk away. Strength is not crafted in victories. It is crafted in valleys. Discover who you are not when life is easy, but when life is hard. You do not learn your voice when the room is full of cheer, but when the only sound is your own heart telling you to keep going. And it is in those lonely, painful, uncertain seasons that your real identity is forged. Every fall is an invitation, every failure is a doorway, every setback is a call to step into a deeper dimension of yourself. The enemy wants you to see the fall as final, but the fall is never final until you decide not to rise. The ground you hit is not your grave. It is the classroom where strength begins its lesson. The pain you endured is not wasted. It is the very seed of your purpose. The tears you shed are not forgotten. They are the rain that nourishes your growth. Do not despise the wounds, because the wound is where the warrior is born. Do not despise the scars, because the scar is the evidence that you endured what others did not survive. Do not despise the nights of darkness, because it was in the darkness that your light found its brilliance. Every hardship carved something into you that comfort never could. Every challenge wrote a new chapter in your character that ease would have left blank. When you rise again, you do not rise as the same person who fell. You rise stronger. You rise wiser. You rise clearer in vision and firmer in purpose. You rise with a deeper appreciation for life, a sharper discernment for truth, and a fiercer determination never to bow to fear again. The rise transforms you. The rise reshapes you. The rise refines you until the person who fell is no longer recognizable compared to the person who stands up again. The fact that you are still breathing, still standing, still here is proof that your story is not over. The fact that you weathered storms that should have broken you is evidence that your life has a greater purpose. The fact that you carry wounds that healed into scars is testimony that what tried to kill you has only made you stronger. There is a sound that comes from deep within when life knocks you flat, a sound that whispers in the quiet of your despair, a sound that says you cannot stay down here forever. You were never designed to live in the pit. You were never created to remain in the dust. Every time you are pressed to the ground, something within you begins to stir, something ancient, something powerful, something that refuses to let defeat have the final word. That stirring is your reminder that even here, even now, you can rise again, stronger than before. Life has a way of testing every fiber of your being. It will test your courage, it will test your patience, it will test your ability to keep moving when every step feels like fire in your bones. Trials do not come to entertain you, they come to train you. They do not arrive to humiliate you, they arrive to elevate you. The weight that feels unbearable today is the very weight that will build your strength for tomorrow. The pressure that seems relentless is shaping you into someone who can handle more than you ever imagined. What feels like breaking is actually the moment your true power is being revealed. So many times you thought the end had come. You thought the loss was too heavy, the betrayal too deep, the failure too public. You thought you would never recover from the blow. But each time you discovered a truth you could only learn through pain, that you are tougher than you thought, that you are stronger than you realized, that you carry within you a resilience that cannot be taught in comfort. Every time you came through what should have destroyed you, a new layer of strength was added to your soul. Every time you endured what others could not, a new depth of wisdom was planted in your spirit. People often mistake resilience for luck. They look at you and say you're fortunate, but they don't see the nights of wrestling with doubt, the mornings when you rose with swollen eyes and trembling hands, the moments when you almost gave up but didn't. They see the fruit but not the fight. They admire the rise but not the tears that watered the soil. They celebrate the victory but do not comprehend the valleys you walked through to get here. You know the truth. You know what it cost. You know that every step forward was paid for with determination, with endurance, with grit that refused to surrender. The beauty of rising again is that you never rise the same. The version of you that stands up is always stronger than the version that fell. Something happens in the dirt that cannot happen on the mountaintop. Something happens in the valley that cannot happen in the sunshine. In the depths of struggle, you discover courage. In the weight of pain, you discover vision. In the silence of loss, you discover your voice, and when you rise carrying treasures from the darkness that make the light even more radiant. Do not despise the seasons when you were broken. Do not hate the nights when you were shattered. Those were the nights that built your foundation. Those were the nights that forced you to dig deep to find strength you didn't even know existed. Without those moments, you would not carry the strength you walk in today. Without those battles, you would not have the fire that burns in your spirit. Without those wounds, you would not have the wisdom that guides your steps. Now, The ground you hit is not your enemy, it is the proving place. It is where you discover if your faith is real, if your determination is genuine, if your heart is unshakable. The ground tests you, but it also teaches you. It teaches you that even in the lowest place, you can still breathe, you can still hope, you can still move. It teaches you that there is always more within you than you thought possible. And when you rise not only with strength, but with the unshakable knowledge that nothing, no storm, no failure, no disappointment, has the power to define you. Every scar you carry is a chapter written in perseverance. Every wound that healed is evidence that you endured what was meant to end you. Every time you got up again, you rewrote the narrative of your life. You told the world that you are not defined by your fall, but by your rise. You proved that resilience is not about avoiding pain, but about transforming it. You showed that power is not the absence of weakness, but the decision to stand in spite of it. You have lived through enough to know that the fall is not fatal. You have endured enough to recognize that the darkest hour always carries the seed of new dawn. You have walked through enough valleys to understand that even in the shadows there is purpose. And now, as you rise again, you rise with a fire that cannot be extinguished, with a strength that cannot be shaken, with a determination that nothing in this world can steal. There are moments when life strikes so suddenly that the very breath is knocked out of you. Moments when the ground beneath your feet gives way and you find yourself flat on your back staring into the weight of your own defeat. It is in those moments when strength seems gone and hope feels silent that the question is not whether you will fall, but whether you will rise. Falling is a common experience, but rising is a choice. Rising requires something deeper than muscles or resources. It requires the determination of the soul. Rising again, stronger, is not about denying the pain you felt, but about refusing to let the pain dictate your future. Every blow you have taken has left its mark, and those marks tell a story. They speak of nights you thought you wouldn't make it, of prayers you whispered when no one else was listening, of struggles you faced without applause or encouragement. They speak of strength you didn't know you had until you had no other choice but to use it. Those scars are not signs of weakness. They are signs of survival. They prove that what tried to break you failed. They prove that what was meant to bury you became the soil where resilience was planted. You have to understand that strength is never born in comfort. Strength is forged in the fire of adversity, shaped in the pressure of trials, molded in the struggle of uncertainty. You cannot rise stronger if you have never been knocked down. You cannot build resilience if you have never been tested. Life is not punishing you when the storm comes, it is preparing you. Every wave that tried to drown you was training you to swim deeper. Every mountain that seemed impossible was strengthening your legs to climb higher. Every valley that stretched longer than you expected was stretching your endurance. Walk farther. Think back to the times you thought were the end, the loss you thought would crush you, the betrayal you thought would end you, the failure you thought you could not recover from. Each one of those moments became a turning point. Each one revealed that you had more in you than you realized. Each one pulled from you a depth of strength that ease could never summon. You may have walked away limping, but you walked away. You may have cried along the way, but you kept moving. And every step you took in pain was proof that strength was being born in your struggle. People on the outside rarely see the depth of the battle. They see the outcome, the smile, the rise, but they do not see the nights when you questioned if you had anything left to give. They don't see the quiet mornings when you had to convince yourself just to get up. The moments when your own reflection in the mirror felt like a stranger. They don't see the way you carried weight silently, the way you endured whispers of doubt and the sting of judgment. But you know the price of getting back up. You know the effort it took to keep going when it would have been easier to stay down. Rising stronger is not about going back to who you were before the fall. It is about becoming someone new, someone wiser, someone tougher, someone refined by the fire of adversity. The person who fell is not the same as the person who stands now. Something happened in the dirt. Something happened in darkness. Something happened in the silence. A transformation took place when you thought nothing was changing. You rose from that place not only healed but sharpened, not only restored but equipped with lessons that no one can take from you. Do not mistake delay for denial. Do not confuse setbacks with defeat. The pause between the fall and the rise is the place where strength is cultivated. It is the place where clarity begins to form. It is the place where purpose begins to whisper louder than pain. You are not behind, you are in process. You are not abandoned, you are being refined. You are not finished, you are being fortified. Every tear, every stumble, every sleepless night is adding to the foundation of your rise. There is something about being at the bottom that makes the rise even more powerful. When you've tasted dust, the air at the top feels sweeter. When you've walked through shadows, the light feels brighter. When you've been broken, wholeness feels richer. Rising stronger is not just about proving others wrong. It is about proving to yourself that nothing in this world has the power to define you but your own decision to get up again. It is about standing on the same ground that once held you down and declaring with your life that the story is not over. There comes a time when you realize that the weight you thought was crushing you was actually shaping you. The very struggles that made you cry out in despair were molding a new strength inside of you. Life does not test you to destroy you. It tests you to reveal you. You will never know how much endurance you carry until you are forced to walk through a valley that seems endless. You will never know how much courage you possess until fear stares you in the face and dares you to move anyway. You will never know how much strength is within you until the fall leaves you broken, and you discover that something in you still refuses to quit. The rise does not begin when the crowd applauds. It begins in silence, in the secret place where you make a decision that failure will not define you. That moment when you whisper to yourself that this is not the end, that is where the rise begins. Strength is not found in easy days. Strength is born in moments when you feel empty yet keep pressing forward, when you feel forgotten yet keep holding on, when you feel shattered yet gather the pieces and try again. Every time you stood up after life knocked you down, you were building something greater than success. You were building resilience. People will only ever see the surface. They will see the victory but not the sacrifice. They will see the breakthrough but not the breaking. They will see the crown but not the crushing. They will cheer the rise but never fully understand the pain that preceded it. But you know what it took. You know the nights when you sat alone, battling voices of doubt and fear. You know the mornings when you didn't want to face the day, but did it anyway. You know the tears that stained your pillow and the prayers you prayed with trembling hands. Those hidden battles were not wasted. They were the foundation of the strength you carry today. Falling does not disqualify you. Falling is part of being human. What matters is the decision to rise again. And when you rise with knowledge you didn't have before. You rise with wisdom carved into your soul. You rise with power that cannot be imitated or borrowed because it was forged through your own fire. You rise with scars that speak louder than words, testifying that what was meant to destroy you has now become your testimony of survival. Every setback you endured was also a setup for something greater. Every delay carried with it a lesson that prepared you for what lies ahead. Every disappointment redirected your steps so that you could align with something bigger than your own plans. It may have felt like rejection, but it was protection. It may have felt like the end, but it was preparation. The breaking was never meant to diminish you. It was meant to build you. And when you rise with a deeper foundation, with an inner strength that cannot be shaken by the winds of life. The rise is not about proving to others that you are strong. The rise is about proving to yourself that you are unbreakable. The rise is about standing in the same place where you once fell and realizing you are no longer the same person. The pain shaped you, the struggle trained you, the loss refined you, and though you may have fallen hard, you rise carrying treasures from the depths, treasures of endurance, treasures of clarity, treasures of unshakable resolve. Every time you rise again, you silence the voices that said you would not make it. Every time you rise again, you declare that the strength inside of you is greater than the storm that came against you.